can't be good. At Dodge Garage, we take a really long walk to solve a simple problem. I don't know about you, but I really like this. This is a 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner, and I absolutely love it. If you know these cars, you'll notice right away there's some stuff here that doesn't exactly belong, but I'm good with that. This car is a really, really nice driver. It wasn't exactly restored. It got a nice paint job, you know, some little bits of bodywork and such. It's in nice shape. Really in the white with no vinyl top and those wheels, I'm getting a real Bill's Cornet vibe from it. Now because it's a Roadrunner and it doesn't say Hemi on it, it's got a 383 under the hood, but it's wearing something kind of special. This is an air grabber. Similar, not the same as the one on the 70 Roadrunner, but similar animal. It doesn't belong on this 68 car, but it was a factory piece on a 69. Under the air grabber is a single Carter carburetor. Nothing exotic or crazy. It's just cool. This car came to visit Rocket because it was not running the best. The biggest problem was it ran rough and it would backfire, you know, with like flames out the carburetor. Really glad I shaved my beard the other day because, well, it might have removed itself. It had been to visit a couple other mechanics, and I'm not here to say anything bad about them because they found some stuff. They had done a compression test and everything came up good, ruling out obvious, you know, mechanical problems. They'd already put in fresh plugs. They'd actually tested a completely different carburetor. They'd played with the timing a little bit. They never found a smoking gun, and they had suspicions that the camshaft may be installed wrong. I found this hard to believe. This was supposed to be a quick in and out job, and we were scratching our heads thinking, what have we seen cause this problem before? Bad ignition box? That was a thought. So we tested one. Distributor pickup problems, arcing inside the cap, a bad rotor. We tested all of those things, adjusted the timing, etc. This Carter Competition Series carburetor, for whatever reason, had main jets the size of like a fire hose, and it was just super rich all the time. In addition to that, the idles were not quite set correctly, so way too much fuel. Way too much fuel led to fouled plugs, and although they'd just been replaced, they had fouled again. I made a mistake in assuming, hey, these are brand new spark plugs, everything must be fine, and I left them alone until the very end. I did find some other not so good things. Although it's not a complete restoration, it did have nice factory type parts in here. Factory clamps, and it had date code correct reproduction Chrysler spark plug wires. These spark plug wires looked really nice, but they were barely hanging together in the 90-degree boots on the cap. I was able to just pop them all apart with zero effort. There was a burn mark in one of them, so clearly it had been arcing out. The other two, I think, were just sort of hanging together and working. In attempting to adjust the fueling in the Carter carburetor, the previous shop had messed with the pop-up springs for the little vacuum pistons in there. And the springs that they'd put in were super, super weak for an engine with very low vacuum. This engine didn't have very low vacuum, and it was actually able to hold those pistons down 100% of the time. When revving the engine, they never moved. The Carter carburetor is neat. It's really easy to tune without ever getting inside of it. You just remove the air cleaner, loosen the two little doors, and you can pull the needles, or fuel rods, and the vacuum pistons out. Easy to swap them, easy to change those springs. It's a great setup. If you want to change the jets, you do have to remove the lid and get down inside the carburetor. Really, the problem here was a bunch of little problems that all sort of added up to an engine that just was not happy. It didn't idle smooth, it kind of bucked, and it shot flames. The fueling changes were the big fix, and the spark plug wires. I also adjusted the air gap in this distributor. It was way too wide, and I adjusted the timing. I also shortened the curve in this distributor somewhat. Although the cam in this engine is not super aggressive, it seemed to like that. At the end of the day, putting a set of fresh plugs in it fixed it. But I had to work through every one of those systems to come to that conclusion. So now we've got a good baseline. I need to do a little bit more needle tuning, adjust the idles, tweak the timing again just a little bit, and try and get this thing to be all it can be. But at least it's not shooting fireballs anymore. That's great. Oh yeah, we're definitely in the neighborhood. You know, it's always a good sign when the belt starts squealing on an engine that you're getting the tune in the right direction. This Dixco hood-mounted tack is a really cool period performance piece. These were actually found on GTOs. They were also available over the counter at Chrysler with a Chrysler emblem on the face there. Another minor issue with this car, probably brought on by this aftermarket carburetor and incorrect linkage, is the kickdown is not doing enough. It does function, but the thing shifts a little sooner than you'd like. That needs to be adjusted, so at full throttle here, you've got full kickdown actuation down at the transmission. I'm going to try and eyeball it here on the side of the road, and we'll see what that does. Well, I've tightened it up some, but now I think it's going to restrict full throttle at the carburetor. It's really common with any aftermarket carb that this becomes incorrect. The position of that pin and the pedal ratio just usually isn't right. So I may not be able to get it perfect, but hopefully it shifts a little nicer. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yes, I lost the clip. It's on the K-frame somewhere. There's a really common issue with Mopar powered drum brakes in this era. They're really touchy. And this car is, yeah, pretty much the rule on that one. You could pretty easily put your face through the windshield. Well, how's it shift now? Even hard throttle is still too fast. But I hold second. Interesting. Well, it's closer anyway. I love this car. All B-bodies is good B-bodies, but Roadrunners especially. They just have that stripped down brawler aspect. I'll tell you right now, there's a lot more meat on the bone on this thing as far as horsepower. I don't think we're getting full throttle due to that funky setup, so that's definitely a factor. I haven't found the perfect fuel rods yet either. I found some that are close. And as you can see, it's fairly good. I think on the cruise side of things, it's a hair lean though. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, Roadrunners are cool. And so are air grabbers. Yeah, no more squeaky. Hey, here's a neat and unique opportunity. Compare and contrast the 68 and 69 Roadrunner with the 70. The 68 body has those ridges down the sides, while on the 70 they were removed. And obviously the 70 has that scoop ahead of the rear tire, which the 68 does not. 68 of course has the fantastic 1 year only round side marker. 69 would have a rectangular reflector here, and 70 is supposed to have a rectangular light, although obviously the lens has gone off this one. The door skins appear to be the same, which would make a lot of sense. Cost cutting and such. The 68 car has the basic dash with the long sweep speedometer, while the 70 actually has the nifty rally setup that was used in the Charger. Also, all this stuff on the dash of the 70 is plastic, unlike the padded stuff in the earlier years. The 68 grille is metal. It looks like this. The 69 grille essentially goes right in the same spot, but I believe it's plastic and slightly different. The 70 is unique. It's actually sort of a preview of what the 71 would look like with that shape. The 70 is neat because they had things like 446 packs and air grabber doors and premium gauges and what have you. But for me, the ideal Roadrunner, the purest of the breed, the 68, the original. Let it be noted, this is a late production hardtop model. And it's got the decor package with the fancy trim panel on the tail, slightly nicer seat patterns, little things like that. The problems and solutions on this particular car really point to one of the overarching themes on this channel. Check everything. There were several little problems on here, leading to one big one. A car that didn't run well and really couldn't be driven. And now, it's quite good. I bet it would even do a burnout. So if you're in a situation like this, scratching your head, step back, imagine all the possibilities, work through them one by one, and hopefully you'll get there. I think we're gonna advise swapping this carburetor out for a more modern Edelbrock, and then we'll put the correct adapter on here, and all will be well. You'll get full throttle for, you know, better burnouts, and a kickdown that actually works, and that'll be great. What are the chances of this? It's a Dodge, well, not Roadrunner, Super B. Wow, incredible. Yeah, Pretty neat. What an awesome day. Still waiting on Roadrunner parts, but we had to check the alignment. It's pretty good. It could benefit from a little more caster, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I don't think it has offset bushings anyway, so this is probably all we can get. Oh look, a shiny new ABS 2 appeared as if by magic. And it's running great. Although I did have to try really hard to bury the idle screws, which is always scary. The bottom threads must have been a little gapped. They seemed to be set at a half turn, which was not right, and I couldn't get the screws to do anything. Now it's good. I also gave it the obligatory secondary air door tightening. Oh yeah. I have this nasty habit of setting idle speeds way too low. Yeah. Let's just get out ahead of this one and make it something reasonable like 800. Man, I just love 383s. They're great. Must be a stock converter because it pulls it down to about 650. Let's see what we get. I think it's taken off in second. Huh. Now the 2.3 is nice. I made the mistake of opening the vent, so I'm cleaning that out for the owner. But will it actually kick down? No. Well, I couldn't film this for obvious reasons, but when you shift manually, it's great. Pulls really nicely now. You know, it's a stock 383. It's not like it's a crazy powerhouse, but it's nice. Sweet driver. I just love the style of this thing, and it sounds great. These earlier torque flights do not have a part throttle kickdown, so if they don't get 100% throttle reading on the kickdown linkage, they won't drop a gear. It's not all that uncommon. It is at least holding second gear out longer, first not so much, so I've got to look into that linkage and see if there's something obviously wrong. Other than that, this thing's great now. Can hardly believe it was shooting fireballs just the other day. Well, there you go. That's a happy Roadrunner. If you're looking for like an easy bolt-on, good-to-go carburetor, Edelbrock ABS 2, good way to go. Did require a couple small adjustments, but nothing major at all. We still haven't gotten our new spark plug wires, so I guess the MSDs are going to stay for now. They work well, they just don't look quite right, you know? Oh yeah, no matter how I set the kick down, this thing will not hold first gear. If I shift it manually, it's great. I don't really know what that's about, especially because the 2.3 shift point is quite good. It's really not what it's here for anyway, so unfortunately, it's just gonna have to ride for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. I like Roadrunners a lot. Of course, we'll have more Roadrunner stuff coming to the channel very soon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And remember, if you're gonna do a big smoky burnout with your torque flight, put it into 1, and then put it into 2 before you let off the throttle. You can thank me later. That might have been the only semi-useful and remember ever.